Hello, my name is Tori, and I am currently on my trying to conceive journey with my husband. Today is January 27th, 2022, so we tried for 2 months, and we are now officially on our third cycle of trying to conceive. And if you don't know what trying to conceive is, it's basically trying to get pregnant, trying to have a baby. I honestly was under the pre-assumption that it was pretty easy to get pregnant, when apparently it's not that easy. So I'm going to break down what I'm doing to track my ovulation and what that means and what I'm using. So that looks different for everybody. Some people do not do this. You don't have to do this. And some people like me are planners who want to have control. Hello, Runa. So I have chosen to track my ovulation and try to time when we are trying to conceive with my ovulation periods, based off of my ovulation tracking system. So I actually made an ovulation tracker little booklet. You can actually buy it on Amazon. I'm not plugging it for you to buy it, but if you're interested in it, I can give you the link. But it's just an ovulation tracker that has the date, time, the test, cycle day, and then if it's positive or negative, year and month of. This is what I've been using, but you can literally use just a regular piece of paper. You can use a construction piece of paper. Basically, all you need is something to tape tests down if you want to track it and keep the tests so that you can watch the progress. You don't even have to do that. You could test and throw it away. And there's also apps. I use the Easy at Home app. I think is what it's called. I will post a picture of what the app looks like here. There's that app that you can also take pictures of, and there's tons of other apps as well. But I use Easy at Home testing strips for the most part. So that's just what I use to take a picture of them, and I also keep the physical copy. You do not have to do that. LH is a luteinizing hormone in your body that actually does not tell you that you are ovulating. What that tells you is that you're having a surge of a hormone that is preparing your body to ovulate. So when you get a positive test on the LH test strip, that means in 24 to 36 hours, you should be ovulating, or I think it's even up to 48 hours. So once you get a positive, then a day or two later, you will ovulate, or should in theory. Now, this doesn't tell you if you're for sure ovulating, and if you have hormonal conditions like PCOS, you may be having positive LH test strips and actually not ovulating. So this doesn't tell you if you are for sure or not, but it's a good indicator that at least the hormone is happening every single month, once a month if you test all month. I don't think that's necessary unless you believe there's something going on, or like you have PCOS and you're curious and want to know. So between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. is the best time to test. You don't have to test every day. A lot of people test way too much or think you have to test every 12 hours and you have to test in the morning and the evening. That's not necessary. You will probably catch it. And you only have to have a positive. You don't even necessarily have to wait for your peak, because you know within 24 to 36 to 48 hours, you're going to be ovulating. So that's the best time to baby dance. And baby dancing is basically the deed you do to get pregnant, without going into gruesome details. So this was the month of July, and then I did August and September, and then I also did November, just tracking my LH, trying to figure out when I peak and when my ovulation occurs roughly, because this is a rough estimate of when you're going to be ovulating or when you should be thinking you're ovulating. I have roughly about a 28 to 29 day cycle. It kind of varies every month. In theory, if I had a perfect cycle, I should be ovulating around day 14. And your cycle days start when you start your period. So cycle day 1 is day 1 of your period, and then it goes all the way until your next period. So the day before your period starts is the last day of your cycle. So I'll give an example with my first month of trying to conceive. So this is what it looks like for month 1. This was November through December, basically, because my cycle started on November 27th, which was my period, so that's cycle day 1. And then I did not track until I wanted to start testing my LH strips. So I started on 12/6, which was cycle day 10, and I tracked all the way until cycle day 15. And I actually had a positive on the 13th cycle. I started testing a few times just because I wanted to see when I stopped. And I actually had positives the 13th, 14th, and 15th for some reason. And then the 15th in the evening, I no longer had a positive, as you can see here. So it kind of just faded away. Ovulation test strips or LH test strips will always have 2 lines, so don't get that confused with pregnancy tests. But the difference is there's the test line and the control line, and you want the test line to be as dark or darker than the control line. A peak ovulation is if the test line is darker than the control line. That means you have a very big positive. That's what people are always looking for, but in reality, once you get that positive, once the 2 lines are the same color, that's positive, and that's when you should do day 1 of LH. Like from then on, then it's 24 to 36 hours, not when you hit your peak. So just keep that in mind. That was month 1, and then I obviously did not get pregnant. And then month 2, I did it a little bit differently, just a little bit smoother. So month 2, I started my period on 12/26. And that lasted for roughly 2 days with 3 days of spotting. So technically you could maybe say 5 days. And then I didn't start testing until cycle day 12 because really you don't need to test the full month after you stop your period. I had a positive on day 14 here. As you can see, the test line is as dark or darker than the control line over on this side. So then I waited until cycle day 23 to test, which was 6 days before my missed period, or supposed to be missed period. And as you can see, I had all negative tests. I did test with 1 first response, I believe, in this cycle period, but everything was negative. My cycle this last time was 28 days, and then my other cycle was 29 days because I was a day late on my first cycle of trying. So that brings us to this cycle, cycle 3 of trying to conceive. Month 3 of trying to conceive, if you want to think of it that way. I started my period on the 23rd, and I actually had a 4-day cycle. I'm on 127 today as I'm filming this, and that would be cycle day 5. But I'm going to start testing on cycle day 12. So I wrote LH test on these 4 days because that's around the time I believe I'm going to be having a positive. I'm supposed to start my period on 220. So cycle day 1 down here. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I'm going to make sure to track all of my stuff this month on this little thing. So that's kind of the overview of the month. The next time you see me, it will hopefully just be my LH test strips and me talking about whether it's positive or negative and what I'm testing. So I'll be testing in the next week, I believe. So I won't be starting this video up until then. Okay, I'm not going to film every single time I test like this, but just for the first one, I wanted to show you guys. This is the test. My urine is over here in this cup. I dip it in for 5 seconds, and then I lay it flat and then read it in 5 minutes. So I will do that and show you guys what the results are in 5 minutes. I'm only cycle day 8, so I absolutely do not expect this to be positive. These are the last 3 days. I don't think I recorded the day 2 and 3. So cycle day 9 and 10. Today's day 11, 2-2. And I'm going to start using these strips. I have a bunch of them in here. So I'm going to use them up just because why not? They were sent to me accidentally because I ordered pregnancy tests, which they sent me pregnancy tests now, but accidentally sent me LH tests in a pregnancy test box the first time. And then I'm going to go ahead and use this. So I will go ahead and dip these and then give them the proper time. I should not be ovulating or having an LH surge or anything, so I assume they'll be negative, but I want to show you guys what this looks like and see how well this works compared to this. So those are done processing, and they are definitely not ready yet, but the lines are absolutely getting darker compared to even yesterday. So we are getting close. I'm guessing that by day 14, I will be having a positive LH. Today, this is my LH strip, the orange nicer version. It looks positive to me. This was it compared to yesterday's, so it definitely got darker, but I am reading this outside of the time window, which kind of sucks. Same as this one. So this was from today. It looks like a positive, but I'm retesting right now actually, just because I wasn't able to read this in the time frame that I was supposed to within 5 minutes because I had other things to do for work. So I'm retesting here. It definitely looks like a positive. Yep, that looks like a positive. So I would say we are positive today. Today is February 10th. I'm 6 days past ovulation. Around there, I'm not exactly sure when, but I took a test yesterday, obviously way too early. It was negative, and I took a test today, and it again is also negative. I don't know why I always take tests so early, because I know they're going to be negative, but I figure why not. I probably am not going to get pregnant am not pregnant this cycle, but that'll be fine. We will try again next month. So yeah, I will update you guys whenever there's an update. The top one was yesterday's test, and then the bottom one is today's. Very clearly negative. It's a negative, pretty stark negative, and then this one is also a big fat negative. So yeah, there's no denying that. Pretty negative. We are a negative. Here's the two tests. They both look very negative, unfortunately. I don't think so. Yep, it's negative. I think I'm out of luck this cycle. I don't think I ovulated, so I'm not going to get pregnant. I think that month 3 is out. I think because I had COVID and was on steroids, it might have messed up my hormones. Everybody I know is getting pregnant. Trisha Paytas just announced that she was pregnant yesterday. She's 9 weeks to this week. Congratulations to her. I'm a little jealous. I didn't take a test yesterday, and maybe even the day before, I don't remember. Mostly because I know it's not positive. I don't expect this to be positive, so I wanted to just wrap up our 3rd month trying by doing one more test before my period comes tomorrow. Yeah, it's negative, so that closes that chapter. I did the prove tests, and those tests came back negative every time. What I really think happened is my LH became positive, and I didn't test until when I thought I ovulated, 7 days after that, rather than my first positive LH. So I think honestly I might be ovulating earlier, but I always am trying to wait until I have a surge or a peak in my LH before I think I'm ovulating. I have 2 more of those prove tests left to test my LH, and the second that I get a positive LH, that's when I'm going to count until the marker for 7 to 10 days after. So I'm hoping maybe that'll help, and I will try to basically see 24 hours after that LH peak or the positive peak that I get. That's whenever I will say ovulation is, rather than waiting for the highest peak. Tomorrow my period is supposed to start according to my app, but that would only be cycle day 28, which would mean my cycle is only 27 days long, so I think my cycle is actually not going to start until Saturday. All right, so I'm going to finish this out because I need to go back to work, and Rena is trying to jump up here. So thank you guys so much for watching. May all your stars align, and I will see you guys in my next video.